Aloha golfers! Welcome to Golf in the Cosmos, episode number 18. I'm Kevin Robowski, and here we talk all things McElgrady and Morad. Today's episode will be McElgrady giving a lesson to Aaron Baddeley, perhaps year 2000 and I want to say 6, and this is really, I would say, the impetus to sort of the origins of stack and tilt. And Aaron Baddeley, as most of you know, is a PGA Tour pro and became a sort of stack and tilt frontman, if you will. The irony is that I think this video is sort of maybe a test to see whether he wants to use Mac as a teacher or Andy Plummer and Mike Bennett from Stack and Tilt. And Aaron Baddeley chose to go with Andy and Mike. So I think obviously there's nothing wrong with that. And this is a matter of personal preference, obviously. And this video is a segment of a much longer video that doesn't have much audio quality to it. So this was the best bit that I chose. Here we're getting into this later Morad methodology, which seems to be a little bit more complicated. And certainly Aaron Baddeley here is giving a little bit of resistance, and also he is not hitting it well. So I'm sure this maybe led to his sort of conclusion to go in the other direction. Or it could have been just too much too soon. So sometimes this is also the case. Aaron hit it fat, he's shanking it, he hits it in the trees, lots of bad shots. He hit some good shots too. I think looking at this again, it kind of, I wouldn't say it spirals poorly, but Mac keeps adding things on and on and on. And I think maybe it was a little bit overkill. The general idea of this video and Mac's teaching of Aaron was to get Aaron to turn his hips. So Aaron had what I would call, maybe modern 2000, early 2000 swing. Very wide stance, kind of neutral grip, high hands, more resistance in the hips and the right knee. So a lot of static hips, so very little hip turn, kind of picking the club up, more upright, not so much shoulder turn. Then you have the lower body kicking in, the right shoulder dropping, and then the right shoulder, after it drops down, it has to fire forward. So you see a lot of that in Aaron Baddeley's swing with the long wraparound finish. So I would say Adam Scott, obviously Aaron, a lot of guys in this generation had that look. So Mac is basically trying to get him to turn his hips in the backswing and get his swing more pivot oriented. Oddly, Mac does not in this video address Aaron Baddeley's high left arm plane. So Aaron Baddeley is definitely, up in here somewhere, not going across the left arm, not really getting deep enough, left arm across the left shoulder plane, and not really getting it deep enough, that stretch that we're looking for, that Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson stretch across the shoulder plane. And so he's kind of up in what I would call like a limbo land, right? So he's got to kind of drop it in the slot and then chase it. So that's my interpretation of what Aaron's doing. What I think becomes complicated here is all the other little nuances after the hip turn. So Mac wants him to close his stance, strengthen his left hand grip, play the ball more forward, and Aaron's got the club face maybe a little bit open, so Mac's trying to get him to probably close it a little bit to get him to a little bit more square, and then trying to get him more left-sided. So this idea that when you turn your hips, Max says the leaning tower of Pisa, that means the upper torso is actually leaning to the left, maybe slightly before the backswing is completed, right? So there's a lot of COG, center of gravity, shifts to the left to get the divot in front of the ball. This became more the staple of late Morad and certainly stack and tilt as well. So early Mac was about centeredness, no weight shift, turn around a fixed axis with the eyes and the head fixated on the ball, and basic rotation, right? Release the wrist, straighten the knee, keep the arms connected against the body, and make it simple. Here we can see, the complexity, and Aaron Baddeley, you can tell, is getting a little bit, he doesn't say much in this video. You don't see a lot of teacher and student interaction, and so that's kind of a red flag. And again, Mac is throwing quite a bit at him. So and he's not hitting it well. So these things are all adding up into this lesson. This could have gone well, but I think in terms of maybe just overload of information, then that can definitely be a turnoff to a tour pro, especially if they're hitting it bad. So generally tour pros look for a little more, I would say, of a feel, maybe one swing idea, and then they know how to hit the ball. So one expression that Mac used, and he used this a lot in the golf schools, and a lot of people do this. Fitters say this, launch monitor people say this, sales reps say this, but they say something along the lines of the tour pros all do this, or good players all do this, and Mac makes the mistake of saying this to Aaron Baddeley. Aaron Baddeley's on the tour. He's a PGA Tour winner. So, it's funny how, that expression, tour players do this, is kind of, it's almost like, a jargonistic term that teachers, fitters, sales reps use for their selling their equipment. But tour pros are all over the place. If you look at their numbers on TrackMan, gosh, they're really all over the place as well. So it's not that tour pros all do one certain thing. I would say the one thing they do mostly is hit it in the center of the club face. So that's what tour pros do. And certainly when the ball's on the ground, they hit down on the ball, but that's about it. Some tour pros hit down on the driver, and some tour pros hit up on the driver, and we can debate all day long what is correct. But basically, there's a lot of variability even amongst tour pros in terms of their swing characteristics. So I don't like it when that expression is used, and it's kind of surprising that Mac went that way or said that. Probably just a force of habit. The other thing that Mac does in this video, which again, this is a staple of him, probably from the mid-90s on, especially in the 2000s, is the constant use of Seve Ballesteros as an example. And this can also kind of get a little bit tiresome, especially because it's almost like Mac is validating his ideas because Seve did it. And then I think also what he's saying isn't often what even Seve did. So Mac in the 2000s is saying that almost as soon as you take the club back, there's a shift to the left. And he uses Seve as this example, especially in the short game. So the immediate movement during the takeaway is a left shift. And then it's a continuation of staying left, and maybe even a further more left. To hit down on the ball, kind of compress it. He uses that in the full swing, and then chipping to get that nice downward hit, that solid contact. When I look at the videos, for example, in the 80s, Seve Ballesteros winning the British Open, he had that famous chip on 18 to beat Tom Watson. I don't see that movement that COG shift to the left immediately from section 1 to section 2. I do see Sevi pick the club up very sharply, so I think that was definitely a staple. So definitely, Sevi had a very vertical wrist set, a very early one, and hit down for sure. And then I think Sevi kind of pulled in his arms and had a lot of touch. Obviously, had good hands. So I see that look, but I certainly don't see this, this strong COG shift to the left. But Mac constantly will bring that up, and throughout the golf schools and throughout his teaching. And I think that's an interpretation that Mac is using. I'm not sure that that's really representative of Sevi in the 80s at his best, when he was a short game wizard. So there's plenty of videos on YouTube to look at that for yourself. But definitely Mac is prone to using Sevi as an example to sort of validate that idea of shifting to the left, and Mac is very much into this this methodology, this late model Morad. Closed stance, strong grip obviously, ball a little bit more back in the stance or towards middle, and then hip turn, COGs go left, and then CP shift from 4 to 5, more elongated through impact, and then cock it at the end, and more punchy. So basically more downward and abbreviated and lower trajectory. So that's what Mac is looking for. At the end of this video, however, Mac is asked to hit some shots by the camera people, and Mac seems to do full release. So that's a little strange. So that is an interesting thing to look for at the end of this video. And of course, I think most of you know that late model Morad isn't my favorite methodology. Again, I favor more the mid-80s style, where simple on the brain and certainly a lot more speed. I like the idea of centeredness. Probably one more point I want to make is, the question is, why do you want to get so left-sided and hit so much down and hit it so low? Obviously there's an idea of getting the lag, right? So you're going to kind of increase this angle and certainly de-lofting the club. And that might work okay for short irons. Certainly you're not going to do that on the longer clubs and get any kind of height on it. Plus the chances of hitting it fat are probably going to even be higher because the angle of attack is so steep. Mac's idea of original Morad of staying centered, you can still take a divot in front of the ball staying centered. This is, I think, the strange digression, right? You don't have to lean like the Leaning Tower of Pisa on your left side to have lag and to take a divot in front of the golf ball, right? Obviously, Mac played the ball up in his stance with the 3 irons with torso tilt number 2 at address, and still hit in front of the ball. So basically, what happens with original Morad is certainly you're going to play from a more square stance, and from section 1, section 2, there's a little release of the club head. Then you start to pivot all the way to 4. Stay centered, stay connected. Right elbow is the key. So as you come down and you unwind from section 4 to 5, you just go straight down the plane. It's a matter of just keeping the right elbow in front of the hip as you shift your weight slightly to the left, just because of the feet, not because of the upper body. The right elbow travels forward, then the wrists uncock, you hit the ball, you take a divot, the shaft is leaning, and you straighten your knee, pivot around all the way up here until you get ear to ear. Right? So it does not require the upper body to lean forward. Basically, Mac didn't believe in weight shift in 86, but the weight moved with the rotation. There was no conscious weight shift. So obviously, weight is moving as you rotate, but if it was a function of rotation, You didn't have to shift this COG, right? So you have the hip COG and the shoulder COG, right? And so, you know, Mac in the late model Morad wants to get hips and shoulders, both of those COGs, over here to the left side. And then you start your unwinding, right? And so there's a much sharper angle of descent. And I think that's quite tricky. And especially playing from a closed stance where you take it inside first and then shift it back outside, that is, that's a mechanism that I personally don't want to deal with. So, but this is an interesting video because again, it's good to see Mac working with a Tour Pro, and I know a lot of you like that. And obviously, Aaron Baddeley has a very fluid swing, you know, and he's got a perfect build for golf. But I don't really like the way he's swinging on this. I don't think he got the hips to turn as much as Mac wanted, and definitely I think his left arm is a little too upright, and his upper body is much more too far forward in the follow through with that wraparound finish, you know, for my liking. I think Aaron Baddeley would have been a perfect candidate for the 86 Morad methodology, and that would have been special. He would have looked more like Jody Mudd, and because of his build, and that could have been something really, really special. So anyway, hope you enjoy the video, and please press like if you do, and if you can subscribe, that would be very much appreciated. And again, we've got GolfYoga video and Ohm Golf book. That's all available as well. You can check out my website, kmrschoolofgolf.com, to buy those. And in the meantime, I bid you aloha and good golfing. See you next week.
Look at that. Okay. Now, listen to this. Snead could hit the 5-iron 155, first par 3, second par 3, 185, third one 205, next one 225. Okay, now you're looking for the gap between his legs here. That's what you're looking for if he does the proper amount of rotation. If you close the stance a couple inches, right? Okay. If you like your COGs, transfer a little bit to bring the ball down. Hands forward pressed, right? Leaning tower keys up. Make sure you have your hands forward. Is that the trajectory you want? Is that what you want? Right. Now I'm going to bring it down just a couple more notches. Move the ball back. One more ball placement. Put your hands more forward press. More forward press. More forward. Slide your hips 2 inches left. Bring your right foot back 2 inches. Okay. Move your hips 2 more inches left. Okay. Move the bottom 2 more inches left. Square the face. The face is square. Okay. Now keep your weight right there. Rotate around that point. Then transfer. So you can almost get into what they call impact fixed position. You're almost like with the wind's going 50 miles. You're already there. You just stand there and rotate around that point. Yeah. Okay. Start bringing that trajectory down. Have your hands forward, kind of lean a little bit left. Now rotate around that point there. Good question. Yeah. Now back in the 80s, I played that well. Homer Kelly with the golfers. He had me set up on the impact fix, slide a little bit left. Let me in the box here. Take a look. This is why it's very important that when you're teaching someone, the teacher is able to do it so the student can see that. It's really crucial. So here, you were set up before kind of like this, right? Yeah. And watch, you see how this slid there? It's like player hitting bunker shots when you're like this, right? So the shaft's forward press, and you're going to rotate around that point. Now, if I put that ball back in the stance more here this way, my grip, I got to make it a little stronger. Now I can really blast this thing. I can lift it. I can hit this down window 1 here. See my weight left? And watch this. That's how you. So sometimes when you hit a little chip shot around the green, you go like this, won't you? Yeah. Right? Well, it's the same thing here. You can set up that way. But then just rotate around that point. Don't go your weight that way in the backswing. Stay left. Right? Okay, square the face up. Face isn't square. Face is not square. Face is not square.
Square the face.
That's not square.
But it is.
That's square. Come here, look at it. It looks like not like that. You see, but you have to be careful there. You got to stay right there. Watch. Guys do when they forward press it. Watch this. They move their hands away. That's why they face over.
Yes.
You got to make sure when you forward, this has to go down. That keeps it square. Look at it. The face is square. So move this down. Stay square. You move it out like that. That's what makes it open.
Yeah.
Got it? There. My face is not square. Move your hands forward. Make your left hand grip a little stronger. Okay, move your right foot back 2 inches. Okay, slightly. Now rotate around that center of gravity point right here. You got it? Okay. Ooh. Now he had the ball. Don't make too far back. All right. Yeah, just rotate around that point. Right? Yeah. Now if I watch, I like to have the ball about middle, then more weight transfer of the downswing. The ball goes back, you don't have to transfer as much. Okay. Hands forward. Oh, your hands too far back. Yeah. Hands too far back. Hands there. Hands are going to be on top of your left thigh. Right there, yeah. That ball went left because you didn't transfer enough weight. Okay? You're about up the center. Make sure you transfer a little bit more on the downswing. You're going to pitch that ball. You get a little bit ahead of it. Make sure the head doesn't overtake the hand.
A lot longer too. Did you see what it landed?
Trevino go over there like this, boom. Hands forward, hands forward. Make sure you transfer. Now, as a rule, you know, if you throw your clubs from the wedges to leading trajectory all the time, and then you go up only because you have to. You know why? Because you kind of hold them off the wheels. Still more control. But, yeah. Okay, one more. Transfer the weight. Now, if you want to start throwing the ball higher, guess what? Now watch. You got all these more shifts that got to stay clear in place. With medium, you don't have so much of the big shifts. Now here's a fun drill. Stay right there. Watch this. Here's how you force to transfer the weight. Right? Okay, go ahead. Now he's got to transfer the weight to make sure he doesn't hit that. Transfer the weight. One more time. Just forces it to transfer. Okay, hands a little forward press. Slide your hips 1 more inch left. Now sit here and you watch the divots. You have to be able to, take this and have a divot start right at this line right here at the ball, halfway to the ball, 3/4 away to the ball, or 2 inches in front. That's based on your. So you can ask me to hit any one of those. I can do that with every club. try to get the divot 1 inch in front of the ball. Is that going to be a lot of weight transfer or minimal?
A lot.
What?
A lot.
A lot. That means you're holding the club head up all the way like this. You're not releasing the club head at all. Got it. Very good. Perfect. Pen. Okay. And next time you go watch some of these really good guys who are really good ball strikers, when you're playing with them and you're inside the ropes, you know what you're looking at? You know what? Hit the ball better. Just 2 more. Okay. You know what you look at? You look and see where the divot starts to the ball. You get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you see the guys who are transferring. Right?
Yeah.
You see how the weight transfers. Hands forward. All right, last one, then we'll stop. Okay, we're going to watch the hip rotation here. Okay. How much you transfer. If I see, what was the center of gravity of that? If I see, was it center? Was it go a little
Looked
bit
like a
right?
little bit.
What?
It looked like it went a little bit that way.
It went that way, the backswing?
And I think it was pretty still in the backswing, but at the very end of the backswing, he started transferring it.
Okay, slide. COG is a little left. Did you guys throw me a couple ball strips in there? There, and I'll check this out as well. Sevi with the short game. Sevi with the short game like this, with an 8-iron, with a neutral grip. See this? The moment you club with that, you transfer the weight. Go like this. Thing is, now, how do you think Sevi was with hitting lofted clubs, knockdowns, all that stuff? Pretty good or what?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Fine. Fine.
Guys.
Right? And the reason why, because you got over here like this, if he had it really knock it, your left rib got stronger. Line this up like this. Now watch, the moment the club goes back, look at the COG turns. So like this. So it goes 2 or 3 inches left, and you rotate around that point. Now that would look like this. Watch. Oh. See? Right, too much touch. Just take 2 shots, 2 or 3 shots. One with the club goes back, transfer your head, your chest, even your hips left. 2 to 3 inches before you complete your backswing. Goes 2 to 3 inches left. Okay, one more time. You're going to punch this ball about 100 yards. It's almost like a little pitch and run shot almost. So it looks like this. Watch. See that shadow in here?
Yeah, yeah.
Watch the one I go back. Set up a little more left. Hands more forward, press. So your head goes left, right away. There you go. Okay. All you're doing, if you transfer your weight like this, watch. If you transfer your weight this way, watch. I can come inside that shaft every time. Like this. But if I stay here and I can't hit it just in time.
Yeah.
So it gives you a sharp angle of descent to the ball. Got it. So. So what that does on the backswing, let's set up. You take the club back on the shaft on the backswing, right? And you bring it straight on down. Do the same thing. Go ahead, hit the ball. Transfer the weight. Transfer the weight. All right. Okay. So when you transfer your weight left, that club will come right up the same angle of ascent, and the angle of descent is almost the same. Okay, try again. If you're not used to that, that's weird. This feels really weird. Hands more forward, Chris. Good. Again. Couple more. Now, you guys see his left foot? Is his left foot open up enough, or is it too square? Like that. Now open it up more, 20 more degrees. There you go. Now watch your head. Now this time go like this. Go like here, go up, transfer the weight, boom. Just bring your arms down and smack the ball. Stop and impact. Keep your hands in. Stop and impact. These are the fun shots about putt shots that you start to learn. Certain techniques. Are you laughing?
I'm forgetting.
What's fun about this is when you can hold the ankles down and barely move, hands your head, and the ball just takes off. Okay. This is where Torino would kill you down. Like, from left foot, transfer the weight. Then stop the shaft once it's paralleling around like that. If you took out pitching wedge here, that's it. You take out there. Put the ball back a little bit. Go ahead and transfer the weight. Hit the exact same shot. Well, guess what? There are times that you need to do that, pushing the ball into the trees or sometimes into the wind. Hopefully it gets open, the grip is a little stronger, hands more forward pressed, transfer the weight. See? There's your 2 bounce. You know what that is? That's your.
Yeah.
You got it. That's 90 yards from the par 5 at Baddeley, 17.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
You got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See? So guys got to get this in their repertoire, how to hit these shots. So there's certain amount of degrees of transfer, which kind of something you hold the club head. Now set up with your grip a little stronger and has a little more forward press. Okay? Your weight goes left, right away the backswing. Got it. Ooh. Now you get wide line, it wins a little 20 mile an hour in your weight, back left, you got 100 yards, take out the pitching with that trajectory. Pete Benneberg was like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
This is the fun part, but you just got to know how to tweak this stuff to be able to do that. Okay? Left foot open, right, transfer the weight goes left, right away, hold it. Got it, perfect. Now, I'll just say one more thought, and that is, you can do the same thing now, put even a little bit more spin to it. Watch. You come through here.
Yeah.
Instead of this way, go like this. Hit it, now back it up. And just keep your hands ahead. That puts a little bit more spin to it. Okay. Still try to keep it on the same trajectory almost. Right? Then go ahead and back it up the last second. Got it. Here we go. That's the 1 ball bounce that checks. The other one's 2 bounces. You get it?
Yeah.
Those are all those balls hit the same trajectory.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but you can't do that with a 2-iron. Why is that?
Just again and hit the divots in frame.
Right. So, but then what's that stinger that Tiger did? What is that?
I can do it.
What's that? Yeah, the guy told me one more ball. Now watch this. Here, I can hit the exact same shot you were just hitting right there with a 3-iron. And I'm going to transfer the same, put the ball over here, have the same amount of weight transfer right here like this, coming through impact, but I got to back it up now. I got to back it up.
Yeah, right.
What?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Now, if I do that with a 3-iron like here, I'm going to go with the opening of these trees, just to the right. I'm going to punch it right here underneath those branches. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Watch, I'm going to transfer my weight and back it up like this. I just missed it. Okay, that's how you take a 3-iron to knock it through, because you need the distance on that.
Yeah.
So I would back it over here, then I have to back it up like this to bring the trajectory up just to get underneath it through that. Okay.
I was kind of trying to find ball, range ball.
What's that?
This guy's trying to find his ball and like 40 range ball there.
Everybody has to go there anyway, because that's where the range is. You know who did?
Yeah. Look at those.
What?
Got a couple look at those real quick.
Oh, sure.
Cheers.
You remember, you're going to take that tape home with you.
Hey, Matt. Real quick, can you hit a couple 1-irons?
What?
Just a couple different trajectories with your 1-iron on the tape?
Sure.
Or on down?
Absolutely.
Might as well just do the same. Film it.
We got 9 minutes. I didn't see I was filming it.
I hit it right under the trees, but it went still about 175 yards. You know what I mean? Like it had a strong flight, but it's just low the entire way.
These tapes are priceless.
Okay, let's get some balls. I need 5 balls, and then we'll get a couple more shots of you guys. We'll close it up. Why don't you bring your camera over here? Bring it over here for a second. Son, right here. I'm going to get it right that way. Here, put the camera right over here. Give you a nice, good background, silhouette against the mountain. I'll hit what? You want 1 iron?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Here's,
Just a couple different trajectories.
here's verification.
Verification.
Well, you guys, the camera angles aren't very good here. It's just this way. All right, move your camera over right here. So I'm going to hit this right here.
Okay.
Actually, I'm bringing it over here. Here we go, ready? We're on, right? That was a little fade about window 4. See that?
Uh-huh. Fade.
We're on, here we go. That was a little fade, window 2 to 3. Little thin that time. Ready? This one's going to be really pure. Watch this one. Got it. Window 5, 6, little fade. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Window 5-6.
We got Matt Cole back there smoking too many Camel cigarettes. Okay. And one more. Here we go. Wow. All right. Try to get that up. That went about window 6 with about a 10-yard fade to it. All right. One more. Here we go. That was the lower trajectory. That was window 2.
Dude, maximum?
Ready?
There you go.